Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the podcast. And today, I'm going to go my review of AEW's Dynamite. Starting off the night, we have Adam Cole. Adam Cole comes out to the ring. Adam Cole made his return to AEW this past weekend at WrestleDream. Like I said, Adam Cole comes out to the ring, grabs a microphone, and says he's happy to be back in AEW. Adam talks about MJF and says that he can't trust MJF. Adam says MJF is fake. Adam says that the entire AEW roster hates MJF. Adam also says that AEW has the best roster in professional wrestling. Adam says that, like I said, everyone hates MJF. Adam then calls out MJF. MJF then is shown on the Titantron. MJF says that he is the way he is because of Adam. MJF then says he will not face Adam Cole at all. Moving on from that, we go into our first official match of the night. It's FTR versus Brian Keith and Big Bill. I thought it was a good match, back and forth matchup between FTR, Keith, and Big Bill, with FTR keeping the pace of the match. Big Bill hits a powerbomb in the middle of the ring. FTR hit a shatter machine, though. Pins for the 3, and your winners of the match are FTR. After the match, the Outrunners come out to the ring to celebrate with FTR. Moving on from that, we have a TBS title matchup. It is Queen Aminata versus Mercedes Moné. I thought it was a decent match. Back and forth matchup between Aminata and Moné, with Moné keeping the pace of the match. Queen Aminata hits fall-away slam on Moné, but Moné hits a statement maker. And your winner of the match and still TBS champion is Mercedes Moné. Moving on from that, we have the Elite versus the Conglomeration. I thought it was a good matchup, back and forth matchup between the Elite and the Conglomeration, with the Elite keeping the pace of the match. Okada and O'Reilly both exchange in the middle of the ring, with Okada hitting a tombstone pile driver in the middle of the ring. Orange Cassidy then hits a Stun Dog Millionaire in the middle of the ring, but Wheeler Yuta comes out to the ring, attacks Orange Cassidy. The match ends in a disqualification. The Blackpool Combat Club come out to the ring to attack Orange Cassidy. Top Flight are here as well. Blackpool Combat Club attack Top Flight. Alex Reynolds and John Silver are here as well, but the Blackpool Combat Club attack Reynolds and Silver as well. Moxley then grabs a microphone and says AEW is under attack. Moving on from that, we have Lio Rush versus Shelton Benjamin. This was Shelton Benjamin's AEW debut. I thought it was a really good match, man. Match of the night, in my honest opinion. Back and forth matchup between Lio and Shelton, with Shelton keeping the pace of the match. And Shelton ultimately hits the finish on Lio Rush, pins for the 3, and your winner of the match is Shelton Benjamin. Hats off to Shelton Benjamin for getting the win in this matchup. Moving on from that, we have a Don Callis press conference. Don talks about acquiring Lance Archer. Seems like he also acquired Brian Cage as well. Takeshita and Fletcher come out to the ring. Takeshita then pretty much puts everybody on notice, saying that he's going to defend the international title all over the world. And then Fletcher mocks Will Ospreay. Moving on from that, we go into the main event of AEW Dynamite. It is Jay White versus Christian Cage. I thought it was a good match, back and forth matchup between Jay White and Cage, with Jay keeping the pace of the match. Jay and Cage both exchange in the middle of the ring, with Cage hitting a kill switch on Jay White in the middle of the ring. Page comes out to the ring, hits a buckshot lariat on Jay White, which allowed Cage to go for the cover, pins for the 3, and your winner of the match is Christian Cage. A couple of things I want to talk about, man, about AEW Dynamite before I get the hell up out of here. Number one, I know it's a quick upload, man, quick review, and that's for a lot of reasons. Number one, man, coming out of WrestleDream, there was a lot of questions. A lot of questions that the fans, and myself included, were trying to figure out what the hell was going on here when it pertained to Adam Cole, the return of MJF, and obviously Jon Moxley was, obviously the biggest elephant in the room. Everybody's trying to figure out what's going on with Mox. So let's start with Adam Cole. Adam Cole returned to Dynamite. Since he's been cleared, he returned at WrestleDream, but this was the first time he returned to AEW. I'm assuming medically cleared at this point. There was a lot of question marks with this, man, to be honest with you. This was one of the worst promos I can honestly say from Adam Cole. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I don't understand why they're rehashing this shit between MJF and Adam Cole. I really don't. And to be honest with you, looking at the banter back and forth between MJF and Adam Cole, quite frankly, I feel bad more for MJF than I do Adam Cole, man, because Adam Cole turned his back on MJF, and that's what happened at World's End last year. So, and the last time I believe they teamed up was in All In last year at Wembley. So, and to me, obviously Adam Cole was the person behind the Devil's Mask. He was a heel. He was aligned himself up with the Undisputed Kingdom. And now it seems as if Adam Cole wants to be a babyface going up against the heel MJF. I just don't know how this whole thing is going to pan out or how this is going to work. Adam Cole also had a live mic. He didn't even address his injury or what he had to go through to get back to AEW because he was out for quite a while. He didn't want to address that. It was more or less that he had a personal vendetta or target against MJF, which like I said, I don't really understand it. I feel like the shoe would be on the other foot, where MJF is chasing Adam Cole after what Adam Cole did to him at World's End by turning his back on MJF, or his brochacho, if you will. So I don't really know how they're. I feel like they kind of pigeonholed themselves a little bit with this Adam Cole MJF storyline. But it looks like a match will take place between Cole and MJF, if I had to guess, leading up towards Full Gear in November. The other thing I want to talk about quickly, Shelton Benjamin. Shelton Benjamin was the highlight of the night as far as match quality is concerned, man. It looks like Shelton has not lost a step at all as far as his in-ring career. I think he had a great match last night with Leo Rush. And like I said, man, he has not lost a step. I look forward to what's going to happen next. It looks like Shelton will actually challenge Swerve Strickland here relatively soon, probably within the next couple weeks. So I'm definitely looking forward to that matchup between Shelton and Swerve. The other thing I want to talk about, obviously, the big elephant in the room would be Jon Moxley. And I have a lot of issues with this, to be honest with you, and that's probably one of the reasons why the review of last night's card was so fast, and I wanted to get to my point about Jon Moxley. I'm very confused on really what the hell is going on here with Mox, to be honest with you. In the beginning of the show, when Dynamite kicked off last night, you had a cold open to the show. You had a very small recap of what happened with Bryan Danielson in the matchup he had with Jon Moxley at Wrestle Dream. And then after that, you can see Jon Moxley in the back of a pickup truck with Marina Shafir and Wheeler Yuta, pretty much, I'm assuming, leaving the arena from Wrestle Dream in Tacoma, Washington, giving a little promo on the fact that Moxley says that there needs to be a change. And he wants to be the sole person responsible for that change in AEW, and he's not liking the way AEW has been for the past, I guess, few years. And a lot of people in AEW, according to Moxley, have a lot of egos. So it was kind of a cold open with Jon Moxley. Then you have Jon Moxley and the Blackpool Combat Club attacking, Top Flight and Dark Order. And my issue with this is if you remember going back to Wrestle Dream and after the match, when you see Bryan Danielson on a stretcher, you see the likes of Darby Allin. You see the likes of Hook. You see the likes of, high-profile, Orange Cassidy, high-profile talent on this roster. And then you see the Blackpool Combat Club taking out Top Flight and the Dark Order. Top Flight has not done shit in the past couple years, to be honest with you, even as a tag team. Dark Order definitely has not done shit in the past couple years. So I don't understand what the reason is behind Jon Moxley and the Blackpool Combat Club taking on or trying to disassemble, if you will, Top Flight and the Dark Order. Dark Order has not done shit. And to be honest, and I hate saying this about the Dark Order, but this has to be the God-given truth. The Dark Order has not been over with AEW or have not been active in AEW since the times they had Brody Lee. And that's a proven fact. Now, yeah, you can probably say they had a little push there with Reynolds and Silver, but it really didn't go anywhere. It wasn't like those guys were, AEW tag team champions or multi-time tag team champions. They really had no idea what to do with the Dark Order after what happened, unfortunately, with Brody Lee. And to be honest with you, everybody out of that stable that actually is, doing something right now, I would have to say is Anna Jay, to be honest. And Anna Jay got in the face last night with Mariah May. It looks like Anna Jay wants a title shot against Mariah May for her AEW World's title, which I'm all for it, but hopefully they can do some build towards that matchup, which I highly doubt at this point. But besides that, the Moxley shit's very, very confusing. It really is, man. I don't know what the hell he's going to be doing here. I don't know, Pat comes out last night holding a briefcase. Nothing was revealed in the briefcase. Is it a new world title? Or did Moxley change a new AEW title after he had beat Bryan Danielson? We have no idea what the hell's going on here. And don't get me wrong, I'm all for long-term booking, long-term storylines. I get that. But it also gets to a point where, and I mentioned this multiple times in the past, is like, how long are you going to keep this story going and going and going until fans are really not invested in this storyline? This is the best storyline AEW has right now. And I feel like as of last night, they kind of dropped the ball with a lot of the shit coming out of Wrestle Dream last night. Adam Cole cuts that promo, which is really confusing because the last time we seen Cole, he was a heel. Now he was to come back as a babyface to take on a heel MJF, where with pertains to this storyline between Max and Adam Cole, I just feel as if MJF should be the babyface over Adam Cole because Adam Cole was the person behind the person wearing the devil's mask and attacked his brochacho MJF and turned his back on his best friend. So I'm not really understanding that concept. But with Jon Moxley, man, this is a situation that can really sink or swim AEW. to be honest with you. I know a lot of people have been saying that, but it is a God-given truth, man. I mean, they have no storylines towards this shit, no build at all. There was no build or storylines leading up to Wrestle Dream besides Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley. Now, like I told you guys, AEW and Tony Khan really turned chicken shit into chicken salad and really made something out of it. It had a lot of angles coming out of Wrestle Dream. Now, did they facilitate those angles on Dynamite? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So there's still a lot of questions that still need answers to when it pertains to really what the hell is going on here with Jon Moxley. And we're not getting that. Is Shane McMahon the person that's higher up? Is it Sami Callihan that Jon Moxley's taking orders from? We haven't got any kind of insight, any small clues or details on who the hell this person may be. Now, we might get a reveal maybe at Full Gear, but again, if we don't get something by Full Gear, this storyline is going to run flat on its face. I know some people were saying, oh, wait till World's End. It kind of makes sense with, the title of the pay-per-view, but if they keep doing the shit that they're doing now and having their mindset set on, individuals or teams like Top Flight or Dark Order, it makes no fucking sense, man. Where's Darby Allin? Where's Darby? Where's Darby? Where's Orange Cassidy? Where's these top guys? Where's Hook? Where's these top guys that are trying to save, if you will, AEW? And I hate saying this because a lot of fans and myself have been saying this for the past few months, even when it pertains to the Elite and Tony Khan. This shit has a lot of similarities to the NWO, especially this Jon Moxley shit. It really does. If you go back in time and look at what Hall and Nash did to some of the superstars of WCW, I mean, some people say, oh, well, they were going after Lex Luger, they were going after Sting, they were going after the top names. Yeah, but there was also different shit they were doing. I mean, I remember distinctly when they were in Orlando, WCW, and they had the trailers out in the back of the arena. And then you see Kevin Nash throw Rey Mysterio up against, the side of the trailer. You see, Scott Hall beating the hell out of Scotty Riggs, you know what I mean? And beating other individual talent that's on that roster. You know what I mean? So, I mean, again, it has a lot of similarities to that. And I feel like Tony Khan is, at times, taking pages away or out of the WCW handbook, and it's just not working. It's not. You can say, oh, well, NWO clashed with, Lex and Sting and Ric Flair. Okay, well, why are we not getting that with the top guys of AEW? We're not. What is happening here is Jon Moxley going after the originals of AEW. Now, I wouldn't put Action Andretti into that. I might put Dante Martin and Top Flight into that. They've been around with AEW for quite a while. Private Party have been there since day one. Orange Cassidy's been there since day one, but they're not really using high-profile names in this storyline right now, and I think it's ultimately crippling this story. So hopefully, they can really go back and figure out what the hell to do here, man, because this is the only storyline right now that people can somewhat get invested in when it pertains to AEW. But I got to say, last night's Dynamite, man, they dropped the goddamn ball on this storyline. They really have. And I don't know what's going to happen next week. I have no idea, man, but, the Jon Moxley shit, it can really be sink or swim for AEW, to be honest with you, depending on how this plays out. This could be something that could be really good and the company can benefit off of and, get more eyes on the product and really get the fans to get invested into a goddamn storyline, or it's just going to be something else that's going to, have its little hype and then kind of disappear out of thin air. If you look at what happened with the Elite and Tony Khan, that whole storyline, that shit went absolutely nowhere. It really didn't. There was no outcome to that story, and I was talking about that for months when it pertained to the Young Bucks and the Elite and Tony Khan. Nothing came out of that. We got what? A blood and guts match, and then we got a Anarchy in the Arena match. And that was it. And if I'm not mistaken, the Elite won both those goddamn matches. So again, here we are once again with Jon Moxley and his stable trying to take down what AEW has built. Now you have people like Top Flight and Dark Order, and maybe Danny Garcia saying, hey, I have your back to take down Jon Moxley. And then when they asked the Elite want nothing to do with it. They probably want nothing to do with it because they already been there, done that with Tony Khan, and that shit went nowhere. Went absolutely nowhere. And these are EVPs of the company. They don't want no parts of that shit. They don't. This company, man, I'm telling you right now, this company, I know they signed that TV deal, and I told you guys I am excited for the future of AEW. But if they keep doing shit like this, man, this company's got a shelf life, bro. I'm telling you right now. They have a shelf life. And I'm starting to get to the realization that they just want the money. They don't give a shit about storylines or build or long-term booking at all. What you see is what you get. If you don't like it, turn the channel. And I feel like that's the attitude that they're giving us back. You know, I'm booking for the sickos. Well, that shit's not working. And I mentioned that so many times now. It does not work. It doesn't work. You need to have storylines, man. You need to have build. Hell, even TNA Impact has fucking storylines. You need build. You need storylines. You need anticipation. You need emotion into what the hell you're doing. And right now, there's no emotion with this shit at all. I don't understand how the Dark Order and Top Flight really relate to whatever the hell Jon Moxley's doing right now. I really don't. If anything, Jon Moxley's putting Dark Order and Top Flight over. Dark Order has not done shit, man. They have not done a goddamn thing with AEW. Evil Uno's been doing the AEW video game stuff and all that. I hardly see Reynolds and Silver on AEW Dynamite. Again, that was the first time I seen them on Dynamite in a long, long time. They haven't done shit, man. And one time, that stable was one of the best stables in AEW in the original days of AEW. And then when they added and brought in Brody Lee, it was a great stable. But that stable has not done shit since, unfortunately, the passing of Brody Lee. They haven't done anything with the Dark Order. And yeah, a lot of blame's on Tony Khan. But they haven't done shit with the Dark Order. Dark Order has not been relevant since they had Brody Lee, which is unfortunate. It really is unfortunate. I have to say the MVP coming out of that stable would have to be Anna Jay, to be honest with you. At least she's still active. Silver and Reynolds haven't done shit. They haven't done anything. Stu Grayson's gone. Grayson, I believe, is with, if I'm not mistaken, TNA Impact. You know what I mean? They're not doing shit with Dark Order right now. So I'm not really understanding or comprehending why Moxley and the Blackpool Combat Club are targeting people like the Dark Order or Top Flight, when those teams don't matter at all. Top Flight shouldn't even be in that conversation with Jon Moxley. They should be building up the tag team division with the Dark Order, Reynolds and Silver, and Top Flight with Darius and Dante Martin, because the tag team division right now is abysmal right now. And the Young Bucks are holding that damn tag team division hostage at this point. And that's a God-given truth. Tag team division AEW is complete shit at this point compared to what it was the first 3 years of AEW. And that's why I don't blame for teams like Penta and Phoenix wanting to get the hell out of AEW, because there is no goddamn tag team division. There's nothing. You know, everybody's talking about, oh, well, you know, you look at the clip. There was a clip that surfaced from Mariah May being at the press conference after Wrestle Dream. There wasn't a single goddamn person that was sitting in that crowd when they did their press conference after the pay-per-view. Nobody even had a single goddamn question to ask Mariah May. Not a damn thing. You want to know why? Because they can't get invested with Mariah May with the AEW Women's Championship, because Mariah May really hasn't done shit. The title reign has been awful. And people are like, oh, we're waiting for Toni Storm. Why? Why? It's ridiculous. Toni Storm needs to come back to AEW and move on from Mariah May. Mariah May hasn't done shit. And what, we're waiting for Mina Shirakawa? Come on, man. Come on. There's no build towards this shit. There's not. You see Mercedes Moné on TV last night defending against Queen Amanada. Okay. Where's Chris Statlander? Wasn't Statlander having a program there with Camille? Why is she not challenging Mercedes Moné for the TBS title? You know what I'm saying? Where's Willow? You know, like, what the fuck is going on here? Why are you not booking this shit correctly? I mean, there's so many logic gaps in this shit, it's unreal. At the end of the day, they need a story. They need something they can build off of. And right now, like I told y'all, the only story that people have, the only people had to invest or sink their teeth into is the Jon Moxley situation with the Blackpool Combat Club. But if they drop the ball on that shit, well, then what are we doing here? And I'm telling you right now, last night was not a good start with this at all, with them targeting Dark Order and the Top Flight. It's not a good start. Not a good start at all. They need to do something with this Jon Moxley shit and start picking up the pace a little bit with this, because if not, this whole storyline is going to fall flat on its face and no one's going to give an actual damn what's going on here with Jon Moxley and the Blackpool Combat Club. You know, they need to trend lightly, because at this point, I think fans with AEW are barely holding on as it is right now. It really is. And AEW at this point is lucky that they're number 2 best professional wrestling company in the States right now, because TNA is right there right now with what the hell they're doing. You know what I mean? Which is crazy because the first 3 years of AEW, nobody was even contemplating TNA being that close to AEW. Now, it can come to fruition. I mean, I think NXT will blow them out of the waters, to be honest with you. And they did. I mean, if you look at what the ratings were when NXT went up against AEW, NXT smoked them in the ratings, bro. They got almost, 800,000 views in the ratings, where AEW got 390,000 in the ratings. And it was by far the worst AEW Dynamite show in AEW Dynamite history. That's saying a lot, man. The reason why you don't have, higher ratings and the reason why you can't, sell out crowds or sell out arenas is because nobody can be invested in this shit with what you're doing. They can't. Nobody's genuinely excited for the goddamn show. They're not. Adam Cole dropped the ball last night with his goddamn promo. Like, what the fuck are we doing with this? You go from being the person behind wearing the devil's mask, one of the biggest heels in the company at that time, turning your back on MJF, and then you come back from injury, then you want to target MJF and say, oh, you know what, I'm going to be a babyface now, and I'm going to challenge a heel MJF. When you were the asshole that jumped him backstage and turned your back on your best friend. So if anything, like I said, I feel bad more for MJF than I do Adam Cole. They don't know what the fuck they're doing with this shit. They really don't. And they wonder why in the ratings they get blown out of the water. Hands down. What do you expect, bro? I mean, come on. When you're putting on shit like Monet versus Queen Aminata, you think that's gonna, pop a rating? Get the fuck out of here. That's ridiculous. It's sad. It's pathetic. It's lazy ass booking and lackadaisical booking because no one gives an absolute shit on what's going on right now. So like I said, the best thing that AEW has right now on paper is the shit with Jon Moxley. You couldn't even have Tony Khan come out to Dynamite last night to give us an update on Bryan. Nothing. Not a behind the scenes on Bryan. Hey, this is his medical update right now. Bryan's taking some time off. Hope he heals up. Everything. Nothing. Nothing. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see Bryan Danielson again until next year at this point. And Jon Moxley's going to try to run roughshod on the AEW roster and AEW itself. This shit with Moxley has NWO written all over it. I'm sorry. I know some people were like, oh, there's no way. No, it does. Just a shittier version of NWO. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, you got the parking lot brawl from WCW back in the day on Nitro when they, Hall and Nash beat the hell out of Rey Mysterio and threw Rey Mysterio up against the trailer and all this other shit and beating up other talent. Scott Hall's beating the shit out of Scotty Riggs. Come on, man. And then you look at Dynamite last night and they're backstage in the parking lot area beating the shit out of Top Flight and the Dark Order. Two teams that mean absolute jack shit right now for AEW. The only difference is from the NWO to whatever the hell this is that at least the NWO was attacking high-profile talent for WCW. Sting, Lex, you know what I mean, Goldberg. They attacked, or Will Uter attacked Orange Cassidy. Where the hell's Darby? You know what I mean? Where's these other high-profile names that are part of AEW? No one gives a shit about the company no more? Because that's the way it's looking. That's exactly the way it's looking. And now you want to use some of these pillars of AEW to come out the woodworks to try to dethrone everything that Jon Moxley's doing. Well, then, if that's the case, you need MJF, you need Danny Garcia, you need Sammy Guevara, and you need Ricky Starks and Darby Allin. Those are the pillars of AEW. I don't see Ricky Starks coming back anytime soon. I don't. I think Ricky's on his way out. Because there's no creative plans for Ricky Starks, which is an absolute goddamn shame. If I was Ricky, I'd be leaving as soon as I could to get the hell out of AEW. Absolutely. Because they're not doing shit with him, which is a goddamn shame. And that's the crazy thing about this. If you legitimately think about it, they could have Ricky come back, okay? And this might be a hot take for a lot of people, but they could have Ricky Starks come back and be the person, the flagship, to carry AEW against Jon Moxley and be the face of the company. Or, hell, even better, let's look at Darby Allin. I said this shit when the Wrestle Dream happened, when Darby should have been going up against Bryan Danielson. Darby should be the guy to dethrone Jon Moxley and be the face of AEW and beat Moxley for that AEW title where all this shit comes to an end. Darby should be that guy. And if I'm not mistaken, it's Darby's turn to hold the AEW World title and to carry this company because Darby is one of the pillars of AEW. He's one of the original guys. And Darby has a lot of momentum and people get behind Darby. A lot of people are invested in Darby Allin. And this is something that if I was Tony Khan, this is something I would definitely consider in the fact that, you know what? We have Jon Moxley trying to run Rush Shop on the AEW roster. We have Darby Allin, one of the originals, one of the pillars of AEW. Darby's going to be the guy that dethrones Jon Moxley, wins the AEW World Championship, and all this shit with Jon Moxley's over. It's Darby's time. It's Darby Allin's time to be the guy to dethrone Jon Moxley and do everything he can to destroy everything that Jon Moxley has done and is trying to build up to this point. Darby has to be the guy. It's not going to be anybody else, man. It's not going to be the Dark Order or goddamn Top Flight. You know, the two top names I had to say that's going to be the top two people that might dethrone Jon Moxley on what he's doing is either Darby Allin or Orange Cassidy. Because last night, during commentary, they were really hyping up Orange Cassidy last night on commentary, saying that, you know, he's one of the best talents of all time. He's an original AEW guy. Shivani and Excalibur were hyping him up to no end. So my top two picks is either Darby or Orange Cassidy. That's going to destroy everything that Jon Moxley is trying to build at the moment. That's my two guesses right now. And it needs to be one of those two guys, hands down. Doesn't need to be the Dark Order beating the hell out of Blackpool Combat Club and say, oh, you know what, we beat them finally. No. This was the first time in a long, long-ass time that I've seen John Silver and Alex Reynolds on AEW Dynamite television. For what? To make them relevant? Like I said, man, unfortunately with the Dark Order, they have not done shit since the unfortunate passing of Brody Lee. And that is a goddamn fact. It's a shame. It really is a shame because, like I said, at one time, the Dark Order was one of those strong stables in the first couple years of AEW. The first 2 years of AEW, yeah. They were a top draw, if you will, in AEW. Absolutely. They had a lot of momentum. But, unfortunately, with the passing of Brody Lee, things kind of stifled a lot for the Dark Order. For Evil Uno, for Reynolds, for Stu Grayson, for John Silver. Hell, even Anna Jay for a little while. You know what I mean? Like, there's other ways they can go around it and do it. It's not working. Hopefully next week we get something different. We get more insight on really what the hell's going on with Jon Moxley. But last night was not it. But with that being said, this is my review of AEW Dynamite. I hope you guys are out there staying safe. Be careful. And remember, stay classic.